Alright, doing a video on front bumper and fender removal on the 3rd gen Prelude. Checked out YouTube, couldn't find a video, so figured I would do some R&D and get it figured out for you. So hopefully it's a little easier if you got to do it. First things first, if you're doing them together, fender and bumper removal, you're going to want to pop your tire off. I'm doing a full rebuild, so I got all the suspension taken apart and I'm putting a H22 in. But what you're looking at is you got to remove the plastic inner fender well, which is going to be a lot of little plastic screws that go in through the whole thing. Basically what you do, you start popping them off one at a time, and then you just keep slowly pulling it until you get all of them out. There will be some that are all the way up underneath here, so just keep popping them out one at a time until you get them all apart. There are quite a few of them on each side. Once you get that out, for the fenders, you got a couple 10 mils up here. There's going to be one 10 mil in the door jamb. There's going to be another 10 mil in the door jamb. You can use a very slim socket and some extensions and get to it on both of them with the door open. And then you will have another one underneath here. This one will more than likely have some of the underbody coating on it, so either flake that off or just tap your socket onto it and it won't be a problem. As far as front bumper goes, like most, it's gonna have to slide forward because it's on, I know it's kind of hard to see, it's on a stud in there. And for the fender, there actually is a bolt holding the fender on that you got to take the front bumper off first. Now to get the bumper off, you're gonna have this cover plate that's gonna sit right over top of these holes. To get this off, you slide it backwards, lift it up and out. Be careful because the retaining clips will just slide off. Once you get that off, you got a couple of big screws. They take a number 2 style Phillips, not number 2, a number 3, the real big fat one. You're gonna want to have a number 3 type Phillips, or chances are you're gonna strip it out. One of these guys has some fairly good stripping on it from when I almost stripped it out, because I tried to use a number 2 instead of a number 3. Quick tip, get the screwdriver in there, hold it with one hand, tap it with a hammer with the other one. It kind of helps break up the threads to get it started to move, because some of them, as you know, can be fairly rusty. Also, in this little cavity in here, I know it's hard to see, but there will be another one, and that's this guy. Same thing. These do have some flats. I don't know if you can see it there. Some very small flats, so if you have to get a wrench on it, you can. You're gonna need to take the covering off so you can get your screwdriver in there to get it. The bumper's not gonna come off unless you get them off. This guy has Phillips head on each side and then 2 Phillips up top to remove the plastic. Once the plastic is off, you have an 8 mil, an 8 mil, and on the back, once you bring them down, which turning this guy, if you don't have a battery in, will bring them down. There's going to be an 8 mil here and an 8 mil here. You're going to need to do that on both sides. Once you have gotten all of that out on both sides, you can go underneath the front bumper. Just give me a second. Try not to have parts land on me. Sorry. There's going to be another one of those big annoying Phillipses right there. Same thing, you got to smack it with a screwdriver and a hammer and then unscrew it with a type 3 Phillips. You will have a bolt here, which I believe is a 12, and a bolt here, which is also a 12. You can pop out your first fog lights using a Phillips head, and to get those 2 undone, on both sides. I'm leaving the inner ones in just because it's more annoying to get them out. But once you do that, the bumper should be ready to slide out. Trying to do this one-handed. A little difficult. Gonna set this guy over here. I also always recommend watching something while you're working on cars, just for some background. Got season 2 Mythbusters on there, so why not? All right. Once you have all them done, the bumper pretty much ready to slide off. Once you slide the bumper off some, you can see where I was talking about with the fender still being attached to this guy. Now, probably going to be kind of annoying to get that guy off, but from feeling it, I think you can actually get a socket on a 10 mil nut that's on the back side, or you can go all the way up and under, and where the support goes, unbolt it from underneath there, and then unbolt that guy from there. So that's what you got to do. Get your front bumper off. Now remember, you're going to have some wires that you're going to have to disconnect. Same wires you're going to have to get for those guys. Once you get all that stuff done, all the bolts are out for the fenders, everything. Fenders should be able to just lift up and off fairly easily. Just be slow and cautious with it. It's very easy to miss one of the bolts and get aggravated and start yanking on stuff. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull all that stuff off and show you again from there. Here's another one as you're taking the bumper off, which I got that side off. For that other front little fog light guy, you got this guy. Pretty annoying to take off. It takes quite a lot of pressure on that little tab to get it off. But once it's off, the front bumper can come down. Now, on mine, a little bit of foam guy that was in here tried to kind of stay on these guys as you're sliding off. So just knock it back into the bumper and it'll come off fairly easily with you. Okay. Now you should be able to see the entire side fender wise. You're gonna have to take this guy off and have to take this guy off. Most likely it's gonna be easier to undo from here. So I'll come back to that in a second. Okay. To get this bolt out, you're gonna have to come up top, grab yourself some extensions. It's gonna be right down there. 10 mil with some extensions. 10 mil with some extensions will get it just fine. Now on the other side, I haven't fully pulled that one out. This one routes slightly different. It routes directly to the side. So to get to that one, it's gonna be, I know I'm going upside down on you. Let me run that a little easier. It's gonna be up and in here. It's gonna be a little bit harder to get to, but you can get to it. Once you get them two out, and you've gotten front guy out, fenders will come off. Alright, once you get them out, it's just finagling the fender out of the spot. And then looking to see what else may be holding it in. On my case, I have a strap, a wire harness that's hooked to it, which I will deal with. Again, I know some of y'all in the comments are gonna go, why don't you just throw a giant Phillips in there and twist this guy off and then the whole fender can come off. You can do that after dealing with those other screws. I was just tired of messing with a big Phillips and worried about stripping stuff, so I went the other route and undid the bracings for it. You can do that. If you're confident enough and you can get it to work, that is an easier option. It's just not the route I decided to go. Same thing is going to happen on this side though, which would eliminate this issue if you did that instead. And you just went ahead and popped those guys off. So, but that's basically it. Fenders are off as soon as I disconnect that wire on each side. And then that's the whole thing. Front bumper, front fenders off. Putting it back, everything's pretty much just the reverse. So, good luck to you.